Today, we are going to discuss about how to frame a hypothesis. Now, before moving on to how to make a hypothesis, it is important to understand that what is hypothesis in research. So basically, hypothesis is a research question that also includes the predicted or expected result of the research. Without a hypothesis, there cannot be basis for the scientific research or experiments. So it is important that a strong hypothesis should be framed before conducting the research. So today I'm going to discuss about how to write a hypothesis for a single group pretest post-test design. There are different types of research designs according to which one conducts our research. And today I'm going to talk about the single group design where you have taken some baseline data and after giving the intervention, you will perform the post-test evaluation and then you need to do the analysis. So in this kind of design where there's a single group, pretest, post-test design, how you will write your hypothesis. Today I'm going to discuss about this. So there are different types of hypothesis. There are two types of mainly hypothesis. First is the null hypothesis and the other is the alternate or the experimental hypothesis. Now, null hypothesis is the hypothesis of no observed effect or difference. In simple words, we can say that null hypothesis is the claim that no relationship exists between the two sets of data or variables being analyzed. So basically, it says that there is no difference between the two sets of data or there is no effect of the observed intervention. Now, the words can be used to frame it are like no difference, no effect, no relationship, these kind of words. So basically, no word is an important word and then whatever you are evaluating. Whether you are evaluating difference between the two sets of data or any effect of particular kind of intervention on any population or you are evaluating some relationship between two sets of data, then in that case you need to use the word no. So this is important that you keep in mind that whenever you are framing your null hypothesis, you have to use the word no difference or no effect or no relationship or similar terminology. The other hypothesis is the alternate hypothesis or the experimental hypothesis. Now, this is the hypothesis which mainly the researchers propose for their work. They assume for their work. So, this is basically the hypothesis of observed effect or difference. Alternate hypothesis is just the reverse of null hypothesis. So, in null hypothesis, we have seen that there is no difference or no effect or no association. Here, we expect that there will be some effect or some difference or some relationship. Now, when we frame the alternate hypothesis, it can be of two types. It could be unidirectional or bidirectional. When we say it could be unidirectional, it means we are assuming that there will be only some particular effect. Like we can say that it can have only positive effect, or we can say it will have only significant improvement and that will be a particular improvement only and no negative effect will be there, or we can say that it will have only negative effect. So only one direction is chosen. But when we select the unidirectional hypothesis, we introduce a bias because we at the start of the project only we have introduced a bias that whatever we are going to evaluate, it will have just the beneficial effect. But ideally, when we conduct the research, it should be that we should frame the hypothesis that it is in such a manner that it is unbiased and we should evaluate whether it will have an effect or not rather than proposing it in one direction. The other could be ideally what we should make in our researches. The other could be the bidirectional hypothesis. Now, bidirectional hypothesis is that you propose that there will be some effect, but whether it will be positive effect or negative effect, you are not claiming that. You propose that there will be some difference, but what kind of difference it will be, you are not proposing that. Or there will be some relationship, whether it will be a positive relationship or a negative relationship, it could be either of the two. So you should ideally write an alternate hypothesis which should be bidirectional in nature. Now, since we have understood that what is a null hypothesis and what is an alternate hypothesis and what is the common terminology used to frame it, let's practice an example to understand that how hypothesis will be framed for a single group pre-test, post-test design. So, suppose we take this example, like the title of the study is the efficacy of kinesiotaping on pain among knee osteoarthritis patients. So, in this title of the study design is basically single group pre-test, post-test design. So, we are having only one group where in baseline pain will be evaluated, then kinesiotaping will be given for certain period of time, and then after the completion of the intervention, again post-test data will be evaluated. And the patient population is the knee osteoarthritis patient. So here the independent variable is kinesiotaping and the dependent variable is pain. We are evaluating the effect of kinesiotaping on pain. And the population is knee osteoarthritis patients. So let's understand that how we will make this hypothesis, the null hypothesis and the alternate hypothesis. As I mentioned before, that when we need to frame a null hypothesis, we need to focus on that there will be no difference or no effect or no association between the data sets. So here, since this is a single group pre-test post-test design, so we need to see whether when we frame the null hypothesis, there should not be any difference in the data what we have obtained at the pre-test or the baseline values or what we have observed for the post-test values. So when we need to frame the null hypothesis for this particular study, it will be like that there will be no significant effect of kinesiotaping on pain among knee osteoarthritis patients. So here in the first hypothesis which I have framed, if you could see that we have used the word no significant effect because we are evaluating the effect of kinesiotaping on pain. And we have mentioned the independent variable as well as the dependent variable and the patient population in the hypothesis. So it is also important to mention all these factors when one is framing the hypothesis. The null hypothesis could also be framed in another way. It could be like that kinesiotaping will have no significant difference in pain pre and post test among knee osteoarthritis patients. So if you could see the two hypotheses mentioned over here, they are saying the same thing, but you can write it in different manner. So it is up to you that how you frame your hypothesis, but the important thing is that no significant effect or no significant difference and the dependent independent variables and the outcome should be mentioned in your hypothesis. Now let's frame the alternate hypothesis. For this study only. So as I told you that there will be the usage of words like significant effect or significant difference or significant relationship. We are framing a bidirectional hypothesis. We are not claiming that this particular study will have only significant improvement. We are not claiming that it will have only positive effect. So we are framing a bidirectional hypothesis. So here, first hypothesis which I framed is that there will be significant effect of kinesiotaping on pain among knee osteoarthritis patients. We have mentioned the word kinesiotaping, which is the independent variable. We have also mentioned the outcome or the dependent variable, which is the pain, and the patient population is also there in the hypothesis. And the main words which is proving that this is an alternate hypothesis is the mention of the word significant effect. You can also frame it in another manner, like there might be significant effect. It's not like that you always need to write the words there will be significant effect. You can use the words like there might be significant effect of kinesiotaping on pain among knee osteoarthritis patients. But the important thing is that you need to mention about the significant effect or difference or association. You need to mention about the independent variable. You need to mention about the dependent variable and the patient population. We can frame the same hypothesis in another manner like kinesiotaping will have significant difference in pain pre and post test among knee osteoarthritis patients. So when we are here, we are mentioning about the pre and post test, we are clearly mentioning that it's a single group study. Either of the two ways of writing the hypothesis is absolutely fine, but you need to focus on the main terminology used to frame the hypothesis. I hope this will help. I hope that whatever I have discussed now will help you in framing your hypothesis for a single group pre-test, post-test design. Here's another example, a practice question which I would expect you all to practice, and do comment your replies in the reply section below. And if you have any of the queries, you can definitely contact in the reply section below for the queries. So I would be waiting for your replies. You need to frame a null and the alternate hypothesis for effect of balance training on dynamic balance among patients of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And it would be a single group pre-test, post-test design. So design, especially I'm mentioning that you need to frame the hypothesis only for this particular design. Hope this all helps you. In future videos, I would be talking about the two groups, RCTs and other kind of research designs, how you need to make the hypothesis for those kind of research designs. Thank you. Follow for more.